Hey, welcome back to Win the Day. I'm Jacob, filling in for Pastor Nat. This week we're exploring the idea of prayer. Today we want to look closely on how we pray. Have you ever asked someone how to do something, but instead of telling you what to do, they tell you what not to do instead? How do I pronounce this word? Not like that. What shirt should I wear? Not that one. Where should we eat? Not there. Sometimes knowing what not to do is the best first step towards getting it right. That's how Jesus responds to his disciples when they ask him, "How should we pray?" in Matthew chapter 6. Responding to the disciples' question of how to pray, Jesus says this in Matthew chapter 6, verse 5. "And when you pray, you must not be like the hypocrites, for they love to stand and pray in the synagogues and at the street corners, that they may be seen by others. Truly I say to you, they have received their reward. But when you pray, go into your rooms and shut the door to pray to your Father who's in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you. And when you pray, do not heap up empty phrases as the Gentiles do, for they think that they will be heard for their many words. Do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you ask Him." This is the what not to do portion of the Lord's Prayer. So what is it that we shouldn't do? Well, based on verse 5, it seems like we shouldn't pray to try to draw attention to ourselves. Praying shouldn't be a look at me activity. Listen to me, look at me. It should be about communication between us and our Creator. The purpose of prayer should be to draw attention away from ourselves and onto God. Look at God. Listen to God. Prayer shouldn't be a public spectacle. On the contrary, Jesus tells us that we should go and be alone with the Lord where no one else can see. The purpose here, I believe, is to remind us that prayer is between us and God, and it isn't for show or for the approval of others. But does this mean we should never pray with other people? I don't think so. There are many examples of public corporate prayer in the Bible. So when we lead people in prayer, or we are being led, the goal should remain the same. The focus should be on communicating with God and on glorifying Him. Others have told me before that I pray well, so to speak. And I've been asked by others how they can pray better. My advice to them is always the same. Focus your attention on God and forget about the other people in the room. It's just you talking to God. This is extremely hard to do, but the more that we do it, the easier it becomes. The focus should always be on God. And if we lead prayers, we want to focus on God. And if we're joining in the prayers of others, then we should want our heart and our mind to be focused on praying the same things that they are saying. Jesus says in verse 7, "Do not heap up empty phrases as the Gentiles do, for they think that they will be heard for their many words." This reminds me of a time when I was talking with other members of my church. We were admitting that when we pray in groups and people are taking turns passing the prayer around, we usually spend all our time thinking about the words that we're about to say, instead of focusing on what it is that's being prayed. When I look at Jesus' example, the focus shouldn't be on how good we sound or the words that we use. We don't want to say a bunch of nice sounding words so that we sound holier. We just want to speak to God and draw near to Him. It's not about how we sound, and it's not about what words we use. It's about what's on our hearts. Look again at verse 8. The specific words aren't nearly as important because God already knows what you're going to say even before you say it. So, how should we pray? We should pray this way, focusing our attention on God, not the other people in the room, not the words that we say, not how good we sound, but what is on our hearts. It's a communication between us and God. That's where our focus should stay when we pray.